What up, YouTube? So today I'm actually in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is a little bit north of Washington DC, maybe like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But I drove my car and I've been having some issues with it. So I'm just gonna make a quick video on how to ground a tail light that's been basically that's burnt its ground connection. So when you're assessing your tail light, say you have your tail light go out and all of the bulbs go out at the same time, chances are it has something to do with the electrical harness as opposed to the actual bulbs themselves, because they'll go maybe in one or two, one or a pair or something like that. So when I pulled off the light from my car, I noticed that the ground wire connection was actually destroyed. It was burnt. So my dad is a mechanic, so I spoke to him about it. He said that it's a ground issue, and these type of cars have it all the time. I'm driving a 2008 Audi A4. Let me just show you what the dash tells me when I turn on my car, so that you guys can be aware of what to look out for. Yeah, you got a nice service reminder. Okay. Alright. Now let's put it in gear here. Close the door. There you go. Left brake light. Left rear turn signal. Rear light. And so forth. Reversing light. So those are the warnings that I get when I turn on my car. I already took the liberty of taking out the actual light harness itself from the tail light here. One thing to know is almost all the lights themselves kind of look like this, where you have like this crazy pattern of connecting web of connections. The biggest thing to know when you're fixing these things is that each of these wires have a significance. If we turn it over to the other side, you'll see here that they come down to little connectors, and that connector in the back there in the top middle, you can see that there's significant burning around there, right? So that's the ground connection. So really this harness is unable to be grounded, and so therefore the lights all don't work at the same time. So the biggest thing to note is that to find your ground lead, you need to see which of these things connect all four of these bulbs. So in my case, you have this one that's connected to this one, and you can follow it basically all the way around here, and then it continues up here on this side, and then it comes down to basically the top middle, where it comes down to basically the top middle here, where if we flip it over, that's where the connector is on the other side. So that's the biggest tip I can give you to find your ground lead, and in order to bypass it, you have to basically isolate it. So what I did was I drilled a hole in the harness and I put a screw down onto the ground lead itself. I put a little piece of electrical tape on the adjacent adjacent lead, just because I didn't want any cross. I don't want it to conduct electricity from both. So that should be okay, and then you should see the screw come out in the back here. I got this ready. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna snake it through. I put a little connector on here, a 12 gauge connector, round tip. I'm basically just gonna attach this to the underside here. I just got that wire ready, just because you need something to bypass or to conduct the electricity past that ground connection that's basically burnt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look underneath. The biggest thing is to find a bolt or something that you can actually ground it to. Once you do find that, then you can go ahead and cut the excess wire to the length that you need, and then go ahead and splice on a new connection so that you can fit it onto that bolt itself. So just depending on the size of the bolt, you know, generally you want to use the same size connector. So I have the fork connection here and the round ones, just in case. I mean, I can always open these up a little bit if I need to get around a bigger bolt. So after looking around a little bit, you know, I went under the car, I looked for a decent sized bolt that I can chassis ground it to, and couldn't really come up with anything. So if you're driving a 2008 Audi A4, it's gonna be hard to find something. So basically what I'm gonna try right now is to use the cable that I have, connect it to the harness, and then connect the connector right here, and connect the wire, and then try to bypass it, snake it underneath here, snake it through, and connect it to this bolt right here. Now this is what basically secures the trunk opening and closing mechanism. It's definitely screwed into something metal, so I'm gonna try to and see if it will conduct the current and actually. So it looks like when I attached the ground wire, everything started firing up and I started getting that left turn signal going again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure it and snake it underneath and make the attachment there, and then once I'm done I'll show you the final product, and then that'll be it. Let's do it. So basically when you're splicing these connections, you want to free up a little bit of the wire. So what I did was I put the wire stripper down on this. This is a 12 gauge wire, so I put it basically within the 12 like this, and that allows me to strip off the actual coating, and that way I have enough contact to actually splice this safely. So I think about there, you want to put it about there. These can come out a little bit, these leads. Then you want to find the appropriate color to actually crimp down and make the connection. So you want to make sure that there's a nice tight connection. You want to splay out all the wires within the connection so that you have enough surface area. And I think this is looking pretty good. So right now I have it seated back into the housing here. There's my little connection I made, bypass. This is how it looks right now. So I just have it so I can show you the connection in there. There's the connection. Basically run through here and secured right there. So all I have left to do really is put some electrical tape right here, and then I'm gonna put some zip ties to kind of secure it a little bit better, I want it to kind of sit like that. So I'm going to secure it a few places along the along this bar here, just to make sure it's stable and secure. We're all hooked up. I put the car in reverse just so I can see the right reverse light. The left reverse light is now working. The left turn signal is now working. I'm gonna put the fog light on. Let's see here. So there's the fog light right there. Can't really see it because it's the daytime, but it's on. So looks like it's been a success. This is just a short video on how to fix your tail light, reground it, because this is something that commonly happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop any comments or questions below, and I'll be sure to answer. All right. Until next time, be easy. Peace.